Yo, nephew, hand me that bar stool. You know what it is, and for what it's worth. You can catch me on the best corner, 21st. Prime time, shine time, always in the game, never ever on the sideline. You know what it is, and for what it's worth. You can catch me on the best corner, 21st. Prime time, shine time, always in the game, never ever on the sideline. Fresh and clean.
Welcome to 21st in Prime. I'm excited. Jamie Dukes, my man Rone, sponsored by Heineken 0.0 alcohol, 69 calories. And I'm so tripped. I want to get up and take let you see. No, I ain't going to do it.
Don't do it.
Don't
do it. You're too trim.
Hey, I'm so lean to me right now.
You look good.
Hey, I did 2,300 sit-ups last week. Week before that, 1,700. So I'm trying to top it every week. 2,300 last week.
What?
I knock out 400, 500 a day right there on my ball.
I mean, so like, how many you do an hour? How's that work?
I do 100. I did 100 at a clip. So every time I go out of the office, and whenever I come back in the office, I have to remind myself to hit 100. So I try to knock out at least my least amount is going to be 300 a day. At least.
I'm gonna start with 5. I'm trying to do 5 each time I go out the room. 7, 10.
I need a new workout. Is that just all? Is that just the workout itself, or is that with the mile run? With the weightlifting?
We run hundreds at the conclusion of practice. Hoodies on, sweat. Coach Phillips, I, and TC Taylor, our tight ends coach. We run hundreds. We run 100. We stop at the goal line, walk to the back of the end zone, come back, run another 100. That's 10. Back to back, and it's probably 90, 95 while we're doing it. We get a workout in, a weight workout, and that's pretty much of the day. So we get the weights, and we get the cardio, and we're trying to eat right, and we hitting the abs, man. So we're trying to get ready for Miami, man. We know that camera's going to be on us, and when I'm down there coaching, I wanted to hit that angle. I wanted to hit, just hit right there.
Right there, you have the point. Yeah, you got the point.
When I say point, hey, come on.
Right. And then you hear pop, pop, pop.
Right.
That's all from the Heineken 0.0, man. That Heineken 0.0's got you looking right.
Speaking of pow, you're not a golfer, coach, but this story is really intriguing to me. J.R. Smith, former NBA player, got a couple of rings, I believe, in a couple of different places.
One of my favorite guys. You do know that.
And he, to me, he can go drop 20 on you anytime.
Right now.
He hit 6 dimes on you. He could drop 20 on you in a half or in a quarter. He one of them kind of guys. But he's I guess, petitioning the NCAA. He enrolled at North Carolina A&T, petitioning the NCAA to be able to play college golf. Thoughts, gentlemen?
Why wouldn't he be able to play? Because
he's 30. There is a rule for, remember, like the Winky rule, so to speak. Where there's only so many years you can be away. We had Billy Allen. You remember him back in the day? He went to the military. But there's an age limit with college.
It can't be. I just saw a father and son play on the same team at an HBCU, I think several years ago. You got to Google it.
I got to Google it.
A father and son was on the same team.
Okay.
Yeah.
I think I remember something like that.
And if we remember, J.R. Smith didn't go to college. He got drafted right out of high school. So let the man get his college experience. Golf is one of those games that's going to be fruitful late into your life. There's 94-year-olds who are out there still swinging a golf club, and that's probably what's keeping them alive. There's not a lot of sports that you're going to age gracefully into. Golf is one of them. Let J.R. Smith go swing.
Let him compete.
What's wrong, dude?
He want to compete.
Yeah. Oh, I'm all for it. But he's going to need a waiver. But he's going to need a waiver, though, I think is the point. But
why not? But why not?
Oh,
First of all, during this turbulent time and this pandemic time, you could get a waiver for doing anything in the NCAA. Let's just get that straight.
No, but if you're transgender, you can't get that waiver. So
hell is real.
What?
Just letting you know.
There's because they're saying there's some restrictions and limitations that they do because of advantage. Some of it being,
Yeah, Jay, come on, man. You can't have a dude wrestling. Never mind. I can't even go there.
We don't have to go down there.
I have a scripted mind, and I don't want to get in trouble. But I know what you're getting at. But no.
But in this particular case, because he's so much older, so much the kid's senior, there's a maturity. I think he should be able to do it. I'm not saying he shouldn't, but there are some rules and limitations because age was an issue. Now, the thing is, if it was the basketball team, then the answer would be definitely hell no. But this is different because this is not what he did. That's why I think he should be granted the waiver, because he is as much as an amateur at this sport as a 12-year-old or 17.
That's the difference. That's the difference, because you got to think of the residual effect. So if this happens, and if he was a golfer trying to do golf, it would have been a competitive advantage. That's not right. But since he was a basketball player, he's doing something unbeknownst and new to him, and he did not attend college. I think he should be all right. I feel as though he should be all right. I just wish he could do it here in Jackson State.
My question is this, though. Do you think that he's dead serious about the school side of it? Do you think he's just doing a Rodney Dangerfield back to school, and he's trying to live this college fantasy that he never got to do because he went straight to the NBA, and he just wants to have a taste of that lifestyle? Or do you think that he's going to be going to class, hitting the books, and then hitting the long drives?
It's not like it used to be, Ron and Jamie, back when everything was the experience of a college campus. Oftentimes today, some of these kids may have just 2 classes on campus, maybe 1, and all the other classes are online. And everybody's not approved to come back in its totality because of the pandemic times. So some classes just offered online. Whatever it is, I feel as though he wants to compete at something. And golf is his thing. That's his pastime. And he's saying, I might as well get my education and be able to compete simultaneously. Nothing wrong with that. I really admire it.
Yeah, I do too. But I don't think there's any way he can't do it without it, because remember, he's not going to opt out after his second year on the golf team and go pro. So he's going to be there for 4 years if he wants to. He could maybe graduate in 3 because of what coach says.
Why won't he opt out and go pro?
I don't believe he's good enough to be on the pro tours. What I'm saying,
I've heard he's pretty good.
Yeah, but those dudes in pro tour, man, I've seen these guys do. I've seen these pro guys take. Payne Stewart, may he rest in peace. Great golfer. I saw him hit a 3-iron. I saw him hit a 3-wood backwards on the wood part of the club back then when they were using wood, and hit it 300 yards. Then I saw him take that thing and still draw the ball. There's an expertise and a skill set that those guys have at that level. It is. I know you're not a golfer, but I'm saying
But you're right. But I'm glad you said that, because when you start talking about that, you make me think of my recent fishing expedition at Academy in a tournament, and I had a pro, Greg Hackney. Put it on the screen, guys. And let me tell you something, man. I can fish. Not like that. Okay? He hit this fish, Jamie. I thought the whole fish head came off when he hooked him. And Ron, I don't know if you're into fishing.
Yeah, what was he doing differently? What was he? What are some little things?
Everything. How about everything? First of all, the pull up in the boat was everything to me. When you pull up in the boat that he had, all the other fishermen were like, yeah, okay. It was like pulling up at a Toyota park in a Phantom. Okay.
That's how he came up?
Yeah, that's how he rolled up on us. Okay. And fishing with him, he just knows where they are. He can see it. And he was unbelievable. So I do understand what you're talking about. It's another level to this. Yeah. It's a whole nother level. I saw that level. Shout out to my man Greg. I'm still waiting on you, Greg, to call me to come to your house and fish with you like you said you were, but I haven't heard from him.
But you haven't heard from him. He didn't hit you on DM yet. What was his name again? Greg
Hackney.
Put his name up there. So
Greg Hackney.
Put Dion's DM address in there right below that, so he'll know exactly where to go in case he can't remember what his name is.
He's a great guy, though, man. He can fish his butt off too.
Yeah.
Coach, give me one of the old boats, Greg. Just the old boats. You don't have to put the engine on it.
The hoopty. Get the hoopty.
Give me the hoopty boat that you got in the backyard that's up under that tree that it ain't moved in years. I want that one.
Come on, forget that. Let's talk about the documentary, guys. Come on.
Yes, dude.
So,
So I had the privilege this week of working on writing some of the voiceovers for this documentary, and this thing is about to blow people's minds. This is a
Good.
juggernaut. The amount of coverage and the depth of coverage that is in this Coach Prime documentary that should be coming out at the end of August is incredible. We're seeing literal blood, sweat, tears, screams, every single human emotion comes through in this documentary. An incredible story, a story about a program.
Okay, hold on. Okay. So you selling it?
I'm selling it.
Good job.
Tell me something. When you see this right here, that's what we need to sell this thing on. What did you see? What you're writing right now? That you were dang near brought to your knees writing it.
When I saw the lightning bolts that go back and forth between coaches and players and what it takes to actually coach a team, it's like wrangling wild horses almost. It's like you have all these horses who are just going to go in every direction, and finding the emotion of these young men who are not just blossoming into football players, but are turning into human beings, being able to have to wrangle that and kind of put that all in one direction. It's a task that I didn't even realize how exhausting it could be until I watched it.
Dana Beers by night. Dana Dane, I call him by day,
Right.
producer, has done a phenomenal job, along with everyone from Barstools. It is really good, James. I'm not saying that because it's us, but it's really good.
What are we, Coach?
Truth. We're gonna get truth, reality. We're gonna take you right there. We're gonna put you right on a couch, inside the locker room, on the practice field, on the sideline in the game. Hotels where the coaches stayed, some of the dorms. We're gonna take you through those emotions, those ups and downs, those in and out. It's gonna be a roller coaster ride full of emotions that you're gonna understand. Like, this is real. My dream and my desire, I want this to be for everybody, not just for Jackson State. I want everybody to say, dang, like, so that's what those kids are up against. Then I want to be able to create a platform where when we get ready to play FAM, we send a camera there for a week and you see what they're dealing with. You see what we're going through. Then we clash. Then the after effect. Then the next week it could be Southern. It could be Mississippi Valley. I want all these kids to get that light, man.
So is there an ongoing aspect of this?
Well, we're finishing season 2 right now, as we speak.
Season 2?
Yes.
Yeah, like we didn't see like the first one yet, right? But
no, the first one is going to premiere. I think the 27th of August.
Correct. It's going to be we're going to make a big event out of it. It's going to be absolutely electric. But what sets this Coach Prime documentary apart from other NFL documentaries that we'll see on other networks, other programs that we'll see, is that they kind of buff out the parts that they don't want you to see. But this is everything. This is the uncut, raw version. And you're going to see some things that you're going to see conflicts between people that you would not have seen otherwise. But that's the real stuff. And that's kind of what sets this one apart for me. It's just an incredible watch. I can't wait for other people to be able to see it. And it's awesome to be able to. Are there any moments, Coach, that you look back on that you want to see how they kind of translate to video?
Well, the thing about it, some of the moments I forgot about until I'm watching them daily and saying, okay, I remember that. Okay. All right. Cut that off right there because I want more of that because we said that right after that. It's sort of like the scene. I'm going to give you this, and this is good. Jamie, you well aware of things were said from the coach at Alabama A&M.
Right.
Conclusion. Okay. Right. He had a whole lot to say. But when we exchanged pleasantries right after the game, it wasn't like that.
Right.
So I could show the world what we said to each other. I was like, yeah, baby, I love it. Oh, I love it. I love that kind of competition. Let's do this. Can't wait to see you again, baby. Oh, and I'm not going to tell you what he said back, but it was really pleasant. So don't get in your locker room and turn into Tarzan. Because I got it on tape where you was not Tarzan.
Keep the same energy. You got to keep the
Yeah, it
same
was
energy.
the same. So all that stuff, we tape everything, man. Everything is taped. Everything is filmed, and a lot of things that transpired that went left, went right with the kids, man. It was real.
You know, it's funny, Coach. I and we move on. There's one word as I watched what happened, and I hadn't seen anything. I hadn't seen any. I was at one practice, but the word that comes up, or what I think is going to come out of this, is a model for overcoming adversity.
Yeah.
There's been at every turn there has been adversity, but it's not adversity. It was adversity that had to be turned around. It was adversity that was turned around in a positive and a productive way.
Right.
And so that's what's, I don't mean to just crystallize it down to that, but it's like this
But it's good.
This cacophony of incidents.
Yeah, I don't know what word you just said, but
that had to be overcome. That was the word of the day. So cacophony.
Yes, it's going to be beautiful. It's going to be an incredible event. Everybody has to tap in. But we got some NFL stuff to get into, Jamie. Or should we talk about Kanye West first?
Let's talk about Kanye. Yeah. So the house. So here's the problem, Ron. You don't understand. Kanye is squatter. You know what a squatter is? You know what a squatter is?
Yeah. Somebody who's living in a house that maybe they're not paying for, but they
or you're on the right track, or living in the house that somebody else built. Kanye squatting in Dion's house, man. What the hell's going on?
They tore down my house. The new one is not my house. The old one was my house.
Okay.
The Georgia Dome was my house.
This is where I disagree with you. Okay. So no matter who comes through Atlanta, ever, the greatest Falcon is the guy right there. I don't care how many buildings they build. In Chicago, whatever buildings they have, that's Jordan's house eternally. Truthfully, if you want to talk about that quarterback, Matt Ryan may have a Hall of Fame career. I love me some Matt Ryan, but Mike Vick is the king of that town and that team forever.
That is true.
So I'm just saying. So he's squatting in your house. So what are your thoughts, Ron, on the squatter?
Yeah, it's an interesting time for Kanye because he's never done anything like this before, but he's never done anything like the last thing he ever did.
What is he doing? Tell me, what is he doing?
He's living right now in Mercedes-Benz
Stadium.
Living
like an Arthur Suite? Or what is,
he basically, I think that he just moved out yesterday, but he basically was living in a concrete dungeon at the bottom of the stadium trying to finish this album because I think he wanted to challenge himself in all of his creative process.
Is there a cost associated to this?
I don't know. I don't know if
it wouldn't matter for him though. With the shoes and all the stuff he's doing.
No, it matters. It matters.
But if you saw the room, Coach, I think that it was almost more like a prison cell than it was an actual luxury room. It was basically a twin bed. It looked like he was at training camp in like 1985 or something like that.
But you could take a heck of a walk around the crib. You could take a heck of a walk.
Yeah, it's a nice yard.
What I did in the old stadium we had with the Cincinnati Reds, the way I trained and kept my legs in shape, I used to rollerblade. So I used to get rollerblades and rollerblade around the inside of the stadium. I really did. That kept my legs strong. Yeah, rollerblade. Have you ever seen a real slim rollerblader? You always see these rollerblade girls with these nice thick thighs, and you're like, dang. So I said, let me go get me some rollerblades and get these legs ready for football. So it's a lot of things to do. I'm just wondering, is there cost associated with who do you call to say, hey, is it the governor? Is it the mayor to say, hey, I want to stay here? What does that look like? He
calls the same guy you call that's in your cell phone, Arthur Blank. You pull him up right now, call him right now. That's what we call. And Arthur's a businessman and accommodating and Arthur likes famous friends too. If he can add the right kind of famous friends, ATL, Arthur needs street cred in Atlanta. That's the one thing that Arthur never was able to kind of secure. I think the Smiths had an advantage on him. Arthur's never been able to get people to give him that street cred that he deserves. This dude has done more for the state of Georgia, the city of Atlanta.
Black folks, just say that. Just say that.
Okay.
Quit sugarcoating it. We're bar stools. Just say, you don't have to say it's city of Atlanta. Just say black folks.
Well, but I think it has to do with Mike Vick, though.
Yeah, but I mean, when you think about people that has done a lot for black folks, you think about that jumps out at you. You think about Bill Clinton.
I think about Arthur Blank though too.
That's what I'm saying. He's one of those ones. I'm gonna tell you another one that you can disagree all you want. I know this for a fact. Jerry Jones, man.
Yeah.
If you know how much Jerry Jones is trying to help our young men that are troubled, it's unbelievable. I mean, people have no idea. That's why you've never heard a story that went left regarding Jerry Jones and his players. You've never heard, Rone, a player say anything negative about Jerry Jones or Arthur Blank. Never.
Yeah, he always gives people second chances, especially people who have gone through something, whether it's personally or legally. Jerry Jones will always be the person to kind of let someone back into his good graces. So that's definitely, that's definitely a positive and Christian thing of Jerry to do.
Let me tell you about Arthur Blank. I don't know, but not many people know this. Because I remember, and I'm going to take and revisit the story because the first guy who told me, hey, you better look at what's going on down there was Coach, talking about Mike Vick.
Yeah.
And go ahead, Coach. And, he called me and
you go ahead.
He said, man, you better, there's something going on down there. It's going to get hot down there in a minute, And I didn't know, I knew Mike was hanging out and all that kind of stuff, but he said, no, there's some other stuff that was going on there. That's like that other call on the Sharper situation. I got that call too. That's a whole nother story you gave me at 6 a.m. We won't talk about that. But the thing about it, is that, Arthur Blank, I remember when it happened, I went to him on the sideline. I said, Arthur, I said, Mr. Blank, Mike loves you. And this is when it was happening in real time. And I said that, whatever you do, the business is the one thing. But he loves you as a man and as a father figure. Don't turn your back on him. And I didn't know at that time he was going to jail by any stretch of the matter. It was that early in the transaction. And so Arthur went out to see Vic while he was in prison. Don't nobody know nothing about all of that. He went out there. I mean, he has been one of the most supportive guys.
He's that kind of guy, James.
Yeah.
That's who he is.
Yeah.
That's who he is. I got a question for you. This, and I don't want to start controversy, but it's just a great question. Had that happened during this time and era, is it the same outcome for Michael Vick?
Ooh.
It's interesting because people, there's more of a like cancel culture didn't exist there. People weren't eager to cancel somebody, but I also don't think that people were as willing to let somebody come back from something. I don't think that people will let someone go to jail and do the crime, do the time, and just come back and play football.
I like that thought, Rome, but think about this as well. Now we have a culture who's more explanatory than we ever had. Because right then, we weren't able to be as vocal with this as we are now to explain some things, to tell our own story.
That's true. That's very true. I mean, the
I
landscape.
don't think you can ever tell that story with Muffy. I got people on, bro. I got people on me now with moving spider webs.
Mm-hmm.
How'd you move that? That's in his, because it was in my face. It's just it's a whole.
I just wanted to ask the question: what would it be different?
No,
because a lot of things, maybe not that, but it's a lot of things.
I don't think he'd be able to come back. I don't think he would have been able to recover as he had. And his story, along with for Adam, for that matter, too, one of the great redemption stories that we've ever seen. When you think about it, and again, he did the time. None of Pookie and them didn't do the time. Everybody else did less time than the guy that didn't really have as much. Now, did he fund it? Sure. And did he do? Sure. But the dudes that was doing the nasty stuff, they got off.
Mm-hmm.
That's kind of how it worked.
That's what I'm saying. So I feel as though if he had been able to tell his story well before it got to public opinion, it may have turned out different.
I don't. I think it would be worse because I think we can't forgive anybody for anything now.
Yeah.
We really can't forgive anybody for anything, and I think that
we forgive who we want to forgive. That's
something there now. You
forgive who we want to forgive.
Yeah.
I think that I'm super grateful that it turned out how it did turn out, though, that he was able to have another chapter of his career, that he was able to get.
You're horrible. You know what? You are
Why?
such a because he's an Eagle. That's
yeah. But he got $100 million. He got another $100 million. Philadelphia believed in him just the same way that Atlanta believed in him early on in his career.
And only one guy had the courage to give him a second chance. Andy Reid.
Andy Reid's the man.
Andy Reid is the man. First of all, I don't know a coach or a person who has anything negative to say about Andy Reid. Not one person. Speaking of that, Justin Fields was sharp. We don't have to belabor on the point. But they say the question is, do you start him or continue the process? I continue the process because they're not game planning. No one's game planning right now.
Here's my question on that, Coach. Okay, Trevor Lawrence is starting. Zach Wilson is starting.
Your teams are garbage, Jamie.
That's a fact.
Those teams are garbage. There's no choice. They were what, first and third picks or first, second picks? What were they? Those teams are garbage. The Bears were not garbage last year.
But okay, let's go to the guy I just mentioned earlier. But you take a Ben Roethlisberger 12-13, wherever he went there on a solid defense, you got something to build. All I'm saying is what I saw, how the coach is using him in all the highlights, and again, I'm talking about highlights that I saw, their offense with him looked the smoothest at this point. Not game planning, that part of it. There were some natural things that he did with his legs, his instincts.
But also, he was playing in the second and third quarter where he's not playing against starters. Against
the 3s and 4s.
All I'm saying is that his speed and the gifts that the other dudes was playing in there too and didn't do anything. You know, the kid from Lance, he had a nice, he came in the second quarter, nice 80-yard touchdown, but he struggled with consistency. And all I'm saying is that, okay, again, the starter's still Andy Dalton there or whatever. Why would we waste if what I
saw? Andy Dalton could play, man. Andy Dalton could play. He's not.
He's like Ryan Fitzpatrick. He ain't the.
No, he's not. No, he's not. First of all, Fitzpatrick is in the class by himself. Let's get that straight. Stop putting your mouth on Fitzpatrick.
Andy's won a lot more games than Fitzpatrick, sir.
Fitzpatrick is a journeyman. Andy has been with really decent teams, and he was a guy. Fitzpatrick's been the cleanup man. He's been the closer and a baseball guy that comes clean up some doo-doo that somebody has left. Put some respect on Fitzpatrick's name.
Rone,
you gonna respect on his name.
This is the first year that Fitzpatrick has been the starter. Every other year he's wound up.
He was a starter in Miami,
but he wasn't the guy though. They didn't bring him in two starters.
Miami had quit, and he was a starter by default. They was just trying to pass time so they could get all these 100 draft picks that they had accumulated.
He's been named the starter for 5 different teams, and he's fool's gold every time. He's
not fool's gold.
He throw you that Fitz magic, and then all of a sudden he shows you who.
No. You got to know he's like a pot pie. You got to put him in for 45 minutes, open the oven, poke holes in it, blow it a little bit, then take it out and eat it in 5 minutes.
But the game is 60 minutes long, Coach. That's the problem.
Ron, do you know what a pot pie is?
Of course, I know a pot pie. I've burned my mouth a million times.
There you go, because you didn't put the holes in it.
That's right.
This is a pot pie. That's what you got to do.
In Chicago, though, those fans are not going to – they're not going to be quiet until Justin Fields is in the game.
And they shouldn't be. He has shown enough with what they're doing.
No, I'm not he hasn't, Jamie.
No. Excuse me. If the guys in the Jets quarterback is showing enough and Trevor Lawrence is showing enough, what I'm saying –
Trevor Lawrence was the first pick. He has to start. The guy with the Jets was what, second or third pick? He has to start. He doesn't have to start. They were pretty good last year.
No. He doesn't have to start. But what you see every rep he gets can help him.
Yes.
You said all the time,
you gotta make sure he's ready as well. Those guys, it don't matter if they're ready or not. They're better than what they had.
And what I'm saying to you is that I saw enough there that there's no reason why he can't start getting reps. I didn't say he's going to the Hall of Fame. I didn't say none of that. I said what I saw on the field, okay, and then what you've been hearing in camp. He is, to me, has the equal right to be in there starting because of the circumstance, just like the other guys.
No.
It's an exciting time of year because we get to look at all these rookies. And last year we were kind of robbed of being able to see these preseason, these rookies who we wouldn't have otherwise been able to see because people are going with the veterans. There wasn't the preseason. We didn't have the extended training camp and the mini camps and everything, but it's affecting everybody differently. For example, the Bengals wide receiver, Jamar Chase, who was a stud when he was playing with Joe Burrow at LSU, took last year off. And this year, he's admitted that he's already having trouble adapting to the speed of the NFL game throughout training camp. He's even questioned his own decision to sit out last year. Do you think that any of these players are going to regret taking the year off, or should they be second-guessing their situation and their decision?
Well, I don't think they're going to regret it. What they're going to regret is understanding the game. Oftentimes, some college coaches may curtail that offense to the complexity of it to fit who you are. You may have a learning deficiency and not being able to retain certain things, so they simplify it. Pros, for the most part, are not going to do that. You're going to have to get in where you fit in. You're going to have to learn it at this speed, and you're going to have to go out there and adapt and make it happen. Now, that's the problem with, I believe, the speed that he's talking about. And on top of that, you got two corners that can play. In college, if you got one good corner that can flat out play, you got a lot. And then you're playing in the slot against 3s and 4 level corners that really can't. In the pros, man, all these guys are on a roster for a reason. And if you're the first receiver, you're playing against ones. Every darn game, every practice, you're in front of somebody that can flat out do it. That's the problem that he's having. And guess what? Nobody's babying you. You get a check, man. You got a job to do. Ain't nobody finna baby you or sugarcoat you. That's the difference of the expectation of the NFL.
Coach, if you would, could you lower your voice because you were speaking? We can't talk that loud.
I'm sorry.
You can't. Not with players. You can't do that now.
Apologize.
Before you could do it, but you can't speak at that level. It's a lot of stress and pressure, because the issues that we're having, So
yeah, you know what? You're right, but see, with my guys, we're so brutally honest and so straightforward, and we're trying to teach them how to be men. Like Jamie, I asked some heck of a questions, and these are one of the questions. I'm looking at my practice notes that I talked about before. I asked him what was the difference between quitting and stopping, and I put that question all around the complex because I wanted them to think about it for a whole day before I revisit it. What is the difference between quitting and stopping? I said quitting is giving up before the goal is reached, a poor ending to a situation that's headed for disaster. Stopping, on the other hand, is the choice to end an act. This ain't working. This isn't helpful. I'm not reaching my goal. Stopping is a way to fall forward to make you feel better about the bull junk that you're doing. Quitting, a commitment. That's what stopping is. Now, there's a difference in the two, but they're basically the same. But quitting and stopping. Now, some of you guys are quitting, some of you guys are stopping, and I can't decipher which one is which. So I won't ask them to help me decipher which one are you. Are you quitting or are you stopping? Because what I see is you ain't doing what we're asking you to do. So we have interesting discussions like that, my man, so I can grow them and raise them. And then yesterday, guys, you guys would have loved this one. Yesterday, I talked about loyalty and commitment and trust, because we got to be able to trust them, guys. Like we got to be Rome. We got to be able to trust those guys. So I said, who has girlfriends out there? All raise their hands. I said, do you trust them? Yeah. Do you trust them? Yeah. Do you really trust her based on what? They say, well, based on she say she loves me. She shows me she loves me. How? How does she show you? Well, she's dependable. She's accountable. I say, so do you trust her built on that, or do you trust her built on opportunity? They said, what do you mean? I say, opportunity. Do you trust her if she had opportunity? Or you trust her because she's in this environment that she doesn't really have opportunity? I say, all my defensive linemen raised their hand. One big guy raised his hand in the front. I said, you trust your girlfriend? Yes, I trust her with everything. I said, what about if she ran into that? And when I said that, they hit the button, and it was Aaron Donald sitting up there with his shirt off. I said, he makes $27 million. Now he just happened to bump into your lady at the grocery store. Do you trust her with this opportunity, or do you trust her? Then I had who else was it? Odell. I asked the receivers. Odell Beckham. You got a shirt off. Handsome. Do you trust your lady with that, or you trust Jalen Ramsey? I went on and on. Tom Brady. I had all of them. I said, no. You say you trust her, just trust her, not based on the opportunity. So we're trying to give you opportunity, but we really don't trust you yet. So that's the kind of learning that we do with our kids, man. We try to educate them and inform them as well.
Speaking of Tom Brady, you mentioned him, and last week we didn't get a chance to talk about this. Glad to see Brett. Thanks, Brett, again for coming on with us last week. He gets a hall pass to go to the Hall of Fame. Okay. Yeah. See his boy Peyton go in. Yeah. And one of the things I wanted to ask you over the years, because see, Rone, when you get to a certain station of who you are, you get a lot of hall passes. You know, one of the hall passes was a date that I always tease my friend about. That was, you know, that guys would dream about when he was playing 45 years ago. It was 45 years ago. For anybody watching, the date I'm referring to was 45 years ago. But he got one of those dates. But, Coach, what was the best hall pass you ever got at because of being prime? You know.
Hall pass. I don't know if I got a hall pass.
Well, that's something that only
because talking to my kids, I'm educating myself when I'm teaching them as well. Do you know I only went to I played 14 years. I think I only went to 4 training camps. I've only went to 4 training camps, Ron. 5 at the most.
How does that work out?
I played this game called baseball.
Oh,
so I never did that in the off season. I never was there for training camp. I never experienced one in Atlanta. Never experienced one San Francisco, Dallas. I think it was 2 or 3 at the most, or 2. I think in 2 with Baltimore. 1 with Washington. That's right. I think it was 4 or 5 at the most out of 14 years.
And you were playing baseball, and so how did the conditioning work though? How did you stay in football shape? It was just.
I just told you I rollerblade around stadiums. I ran. Whenever we traveled in baseball, they would always deliver it back to my room, and I took weights and ab stuff and dumbbells with me that it was delivered right into my room. So, and I got up and ran, and because we don't have to be at the yard till 4 or 5 o'clock, so I got up and worked out early and got it over with. So I kept myself in shape. So I didn't have to get into shape once I arrived in football.
Do you think that there's other players who are mad that you didn't have to go to training camp and they had to go to training camp?
No, because I was prime.
They got it. They understood.
They know.
Yeah, but it wasn't. But even as one of those guys, it wasn't. See, what Prime was doing, Rome, was doing something that had never been done. No player is ever going to have a problem with something like that. I want you to find one player anywhere that had a problem with the teammate next to him.
Well, they might have been a little jealous, but I tell you what. Back to Tom Brady getting the pass. I'm pretty sure it was a jet involved. I'm pretty sure practice was over. I'm pretty sure he flew the jet, got right back on the jet, and flew back.
No. He actually gave him the day off. No, it was good. I appreciate.
He needs the day off. You're supposed to have it.
No, Bruce gave him the day off. Yeah, Bruce is cool, man. Love it, man.
Oh, by the way, Jamie, I'm headed to Alabama tomorrow morning for Coach Bowden's procession tomorrow morning.
Oh, great.
Yeah.
Great.
So I'll be in Alabama tomorrow morning, and they having a service there as well.
Oh, good. Yeah, because it was good to see on TV all the guys there.
Yeah.
Could have been more people in the stadium, but I wasn't there. So
It's hard to fly into Tallahassee. Trust me.
I was hoping more locals would have showed, but that's okay.
Yeah.
Okay.
You know, people don't. You know how people are.
I do. I wasn't there, so I'm dealing with my own circumstances. So I couldn't say I wasn't there, so I can't say.
I want y'all to just clap for me now while I'm alive, because I know you ain't gonna be there when I'm dead. So, in saying that, God bless everyone. You have a wonderful day, guys.
Coach.